She's one of the first actresses that made it big in the silent film era, creating a persona that pioneered feminism on the silver screen, and becoming one of the best actresses of all time, playing the single woman character that was able to hold her own, working on Hollywood for over 20 years in film and even becoming an icon. She would be classed as the first lady of the MGM studios and would set standards for all actresses in the film industry. The first film actress or person to be nominated 5 Academy Awards at least um, 5 times, and she is Norma Shearer, and this is her basic biography. Early life. Norma Shearer was born on the 10th of August 1902 in Montreal, Canada. Her father was a construction engineer who would later own his own construction business, and her mother was a homemaker. Both her parents were exact polar opposites of each other and would sometimes have their personalities clash most of the time, and then finally separating later on in their lives. Norma Shearer would attend schools and even have time to act on stage when she was a child, on various stage performances in Montreal. She went to schools in the city and with a chance to learn music and implement the music in her acting on stage, and even other stage performances she was able to act in. She would go to schools that were only secular, basically for girls only, with her sister in attending the same schools in Montreal, even spending time pursuing an acting career at the same time of her education. This was during the late 1910s, where her father would also lose his business and even won't be able to support the family, just because the materials he needed were now used in the war effort, and even having World War One, the First World War, happening at the same time, meaning that the whole family would become a working class family rather than being a middle class family. Norma Shearer would move to New York and even the United States with her older sister and mother on tow, who was able to. Her sister was able to become an established actress in that city. Acting career. She would move to New York and would apply for various companies and various stage performances, even to become part of the show business on Broadway, and had time to try out for the Ziegfeld Follies that were big during the 1920s. In the same time, she would be able to move into the city full time and even work various odd jobs. Unfortunately, she would not be able to star on stage with the Follies and not getting any recognition for her acting as she was being able to do before in different stage performances. And she tried to have her own way on doing her of acting on Broadway, but only to have not enough money to help fund her apartment and even funding her career in general. She actually moved in an apartment that was smaller than expected and overall inadequate for her and her sister and even her mother. There was there has been many small stage performances that were smaller than Broadway that only she could star in, and even had time to work as a model, trying to break into the acting business. She would even have a chance to work in film, the chance of by speaking to small companies and small studios in New York at the same time. As she was only playing extras or small film appearances based on being a young actress herself. Looking to make it big in the film industry, she was able to star in her first film in New York, which was called The Flipper in 1920, and was the first film she ever starred in and even performed at the time. This was during the time of the silent film era, and even the height of the silent film era, where Hollywood would have the upper hand. She even took in risks to get into the film industry by spending money on her acting skills and even making herself better to promote films around the city. She even managed to have some recognition based on her film appearances and even often starred in more movies or film roles that were bigger budgets. But the more money she made, she had to spend to live on her own or live in the apartments with her family. However, she was able to have a small film appearance or part of take part in a small film studio based on films that were created by new production studios that would make it big in Hollywood. However, Hollywood executives later on will find these films and will offer her a contract based on being the next young lead for their films. Hollywood's first feminist, Norma Shearer, was given an opportunity, and this was far from the small production studios she was able to be a young actress for silent films. But these were the other silent films which were the biggest in Hollywood, and even produced by various Hollywood execs. So she would move from New York to get a better life and better film and movie appearances in big budget movies by moving to Hollywood itself. She would even spend time changing her acting style and even changing from a young starlet to a independent female and to that would be able to take on the world. As she was being able to implement her real life struggles for being a female in the film industry. She took some time in screen testing for all the film industries, all the film production studios that would have potential to hire her as one of the first female actresses of all time. She even got herself a big break in the movie A Clouded Name in 1923. After her first big movie in Hollywood, she was able to continue acting in Hollywood as well and gaining some more notification by based on different movies from that she performed in. MGM Studios, however, were able to offer her better roles and even become a flagship actress for their studios. As a lead or a supporting role was not provided for her at the time, this meant MGM would have to make her a first lady of their studio and starring in movies that will star other notable actors and actresses at the time, such as Lon Chaney and even Joan Crawford, which were big in the silent film era. The 1950s would usher in both the Great Depression and now a time for Norma Shearer to shine and become an iconic actress that would adapt to various movies and even film roles. She would star in sound films straight after the silent movie, as the silent movies were being phased out. People would see that the great actress would become part of the Hollywood elites. The divorcee in 1930 would see her become a great actress and even had time to win the Academy Award for that particular film. Later, she would be nominated five Academy Awards as a great actress, and even star in more movies that would have her with more Hollywood elites, actors and actresses that were able to make it big at the same time as this great actress. She was able to star in film adaptations of Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet in 1936, and even star in a historical drama based on Marie Antoinette called Marie Antoinette in 1938. Personal life and final years. Norma Shearer was married at least two times in her life. Her first husband was Irving Thalberg from 1927 to 1936. They would have two kids together in their relationship. Her last husband was Martin Arouge from 1942 and to her death in 1983. That's how long the relationship lasted. But she was able to retire straight after 1942 or during 1942, where she was retired from Hollywood and allowed other actors and actresses to take over her stage performances, as well as helping them out to become better actors and actresses, allowing people to really take up the role she could have taken instead. This time she would spend time with her family and even spend time working everywhere else just to make ends meet, even still having the lifetime of fame and fortune from being an iconic actress. Her final movie was called her Cardboard Lover in 1942. Then, having solidified that she is an iconic actress, she was able to be phased out and retire at the same time, and even that same particular year. Legacy and death. Sadly, Norma Shearer passed away on the 12th of June 1983 in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 80 years old. She managed to create a standard for all actresses and even actors to become great in their acting careers, showing that you cannot always be a star overnight, but could be chosen to be a flagship star in for particular studios. She was even applied for many theatre performances to movies that would made her more of an international star rather than a Hollywood actress. Her legacy is linked to her movies and how TCM is now promoting the movies on television sets around the world, allowing movie studios creating movies based on her life, and even having her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She was also celebrated in her home country of Canada, and would be becoming one of the first Canadian actors or actresses to make it big in Hollywood, as well as becoming an icon. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't done so. My name is Suki Cookie, and thank you for enjoying this video, and please let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you.